Here we go. Here it is.
There we go. My mic is now not muted.
Let's do this.
It's always something. Welcome. If my mod wants to let me know if sounds okay, that'd be great, because I'm kind of going off the gun here. All right. Welcome.
All right.
To our podcast.
Lakes of Minnesota.
Hills of Tennessee. Well, you threw me off there. I didn't.
Did you mix them around?
Yeah, you mixed it up. I'm not from Tennessee.
Feeling pretty wild.
Sound is sounding soundy. Great. Good.
Loud and clear. Like
too loud? Yeah, like really loud.
All right, we got a little special treat today. I moved too much. I've got my Tennessee Brew Works beer, little Tennessee local.
And I got, oh, look at that. It's invisible too, but I got my Minnesota Gold. Yeah, my hat's invisible. I'm well aware of that. I'm just rolling with it. But anyway, yeah, so we got our Minnesota Tennessee beers, and we'll just go ahead and...
You ready?
Yep.
Were we not in sync?
So I couldn't hear yours. I think your noise suppression stopped it, because I didn't hear it.
Didn't do it.
Either that or we were like perfectly in sync and I only heard mine. I don't really know what happened there, but
I didn't hear yours, so I bet we were just perfectly in sync.
Yeah, that's all right.
Perfect.
All right, good.
I should let you know I ran to go grab this out of the fridge before we started.
Yep.
And I was carrying my con law book for a riser in one arm and trying to get the beer out of the fridge, but it's like the craft breweries use a little snap. Tops.
Yep.
And so I'm like pulling everything out of the fridge trying to get it out, and it didn't go well.
Well, you got it though, right?
Didn't hear mine. Disrespectful.
Yeah, I literally think it was just the noise suppression on your microphone was too good.
I thought I heard mine, but now I'm thinking I probably just
or it might be Discord. Because Discord has a noise suppression built in as well, so I wouldn't have heard it, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Crushing it.
Yep.
All right.
Yes. So today's episode is TV shows.
It's gonna be a tense one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's gonna be a little brutal. We watch a lot of the same shows. Where we found out last week or 2 weeks ago that we don't watch a lot of the same movies. So that wasn't as.
That was a fun one. I kind of liked that.
Yes, we learned a lot about each other's movie preferences, I think.
And I have a list of a couple of your favorite movies that I probably should have watched 20 years ago.
Exactly. Exactly. So I think we both learned a little from each other. That was good. This one, however, is just going to be us fighting about who gets what, and then going on a tangent. So we probably should get started, because there's going to be a lot of tangents about how great these shows are.
There's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of quotes.
To start off, my camera froze, I think. Or did my Discord?
Oh, no.
Am I frozen?
You are frozen to me.
Okay, hold on. I'm restarting it. There we go.
Right,
I think I'm back.
there it is.
Okay, cool. There's always got to be some sort of technical issue. Okay.
I was trying to have you sabotaged before the draft.
So I'm going to switch to show something, and I'm going to do flip a coin in front of you, because last week there was some complaints. Okay, give me heads or tails.
I just want to know the integrity of the system. If
I can spell, it's gonna be another episode where I don't spell well in front of people.
I'm picking heads.
It is heads. You get to start.
I lost last week, I think.
That is a big win. I got to tell you though, that's a big win, because I feel like it's gonna be brutal. Okay, I'm going to open up the lists here so we can get started. And all right.
I was gonna ask if you want to play this clip now, but I feel like we should wait.
I was gonna say, I'm sure it's the moment. I know what you're talking about, and I'm sure it's gonna come up. So I feel like when it comes up naturally, we'll wait. Unplug my headphone.
You just didn't want to hear me talk.
I'm in a wireless world with wired headphones. Okay.
I also have wired headphones.
Well, with these mics, you kind of have to in order to hear yourself. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the first pick? Piss me off. Here we go.
I did not think long and hard about this, just to be honest with you. I knew exactly what I wanted to pick for number one.
All right.
Because I would be devastated if I didn't get this. This not only is my number one draft pick for the sake of... Sorry, I'm giving you a preface.
Yep, I want all the three actors.
is not only my number one pick, so that you don't take it from me, but I think it also is my favorite television show of all time.
Perfect.
And so my number one pick is Supernatural.
Damn it! I knew. Okay, I knew. I had a feeling. That was gonna be mine because I knew you were gonna take it. I knew it. Yeah.
I love it. No, it's not even fair because you introduced me to this show.
I know, and I knew you were gonna take it though. Like it was literally number one. I'm not gonna show my paper because I got everything on here, but I was my number one listed on here.
I have a little star next to it on mine. I won't show you.
I will say I was IMing Mom earlier today, and I said, hey, so has Katie told you her picks at all? Like just trying to get some details out of her. She's like, no. I'm like, God dang it.
Mom texted me and goes, so Sean asked me if you had told me what you were thinking about picking, and I was like, son of a bitch, just trying to get into it.
I was trying so hard. Whatever I can do, like, man. Whatever I can do. Does he think
I'm not preparing? Like, is he checking in to make sure I'm getting ready? And I'm like, no. He's being
I was
spy.
Definitely trying to spy and see if I could get I wanted your tactics. I wanted to know what was coming first. Basically, I was terrified you were gonna pick Supernatural first, and I knew if I lost the coin, if I lost the coin flip, I knew I was gonna lose Supernatural. So
yeah, I mean, it had to go.
Yep,
it had to go first.
So
it's just
go ahead.
It's most of my favorite episodes of TV are from Supernatural.
Yeah.
And if we're doing like if we want, we could do best episodes of TV shows, and that'd be a whole other thing. But like The French Mistake is one of the best episodes to ever grace television.
That's what I was gonna bring up if you didn't. That's probably my favorite.
It's just so good. And I just remember you showed me the first episode. I don't like horror. I hate ghosts. Like anything in that realm, it's not me. But you loved the show, and so I was like, I'll watch the first episode with you. And like the moment she's on fire on the ceiling at the end of that episode
1, basically, like,
I'm in.
Yeah. Because that's such a shocking visual. Like you don't see it coming like at all. It's a very good hook into the show for sure. It's one of the few shows. It might be the only show on this list where I can say the first episode is hooking right away. Most of these shows, we're gonna say, oh, wait a season, wait 2 seasons, and then get into it. Yeah. But this show, right from the beginning, like you're in. Now it is a little cheesy in the beginning. It's a little procedural, like I admit it, but I like that. Like it triggers all the like trashy television that I like secretly, you know.
Yeah.
And then it turns into something more eventually. Like you grow into it at the same time. So
you gotta set the routine before you can like break the routine. So
exactly.
That's kind of, and I mean, I think episode 2 is the Wendigo episode, which like is just such a classic. Like they just started off strong, and that duo.
Yeah.
Is just...
I mean, they still to this day are. Well, I shouldn't say to this day. Up until the end of the show, they were like constantly doing stuff together. Like they're really good at like cons. I was just telling Brittany today that I wish I could have gone to a con during when they were like that show was at its peak, because seeing them live is just so. There's clips still going around about how funny they are.
I think Jared Padalecki. I think if I'm remembering the story correctly, he got arrested for drunk driving or something, and like his mugshot was online, and he wore a shirt with his mugshot on it to one of like the conventions or something.
I heard about that. I remember that now. Yeah. Well, and the other thing about Supernatural I wanted to touch on was it became our family show. Like we would sit down and all sit and watch it together, like religiously. Like that was a thing. In fact, it's at the point where we actually haven't seen the final season of our favorite show because we've been waiting for years to watch it together. We literally haven't seen it because of that.
Which I've gotten dangerously close to a couple of spoilers now, so we really need to watch it.
I'm sure I've seen a couple too. It's been so long now.
It's just so good. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say though. Dad and I, like, it's almost like I feel like none of us would be able to listen to Supernatural without hearing the scraping of the orange juice.
Yep, that's why I knew.
We'd freeze our frozen orange juice and take it out and then eat it with Supernatural.
Yep, the weirdest thing in the world.
Dad said Kevin Tran, but I can't talk about it.
That's spoilers.
Except my cameo that I got from him.
That's true. Yep, you did get a cameo from him. Yep, that's true.
Oh, I love him so much.
If I had it ready, I would have pulled it up. I forgot that was a thing. Yeah.
I forgot about it too. He's like Kevin Tran, and I was like, yes.
Yep.
Oh boy, it's just the best show.
It is. It's just very good all around.
And then like when you thought it couldn't get better, then season 13 came and they brought Jack, and I was like, excellent, keep it coming. Yep.
Oh yeah, probably is on Twitter. Yep. I'm not gonna go search for it right now. We got a lot to get through.
Right.
So.
I think it's actually just a screenshot on Twitter because it wouldn't let me upload the video.
I will post it on Discord, mod Discord. I'll post it on the Discord, and then you guys can see it there. So if my mod would be so kind to post the Discord, that'd be great. Anyway, so we'll get on to my pick, I guess. Unless you had anything else supernatural wise you want to.
No. I mean, I could say a million things about it. We could have a whole episode on supernatural, but
I'm just gonna do it. There we go. There's my Discord. Well, Pesky's Discord. That we both share. Anyway. All right, my pick. Well, if you're picking supernatural, then. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I already did it. I asked you to post. I asked you for the Discord, but I took care of it. It's fine. Okay. So, my number one pick is gonna be The Office. Yep. You had to know the risk. You had to know the risk you were taking.
If I was picking Supernatural, I knew one of my top 2 sitcoms was gonna get taken by you.
Yeah.
If you didn't pick The Office, that would have been a mistake on your part, I think.
Yep. Yep. Well, and what's funny is earlier when you picked Supernatural, I saw Pesky pop in the comments and say, you know what to do now, or something like that. Like, you know what this means. And that's because earlier we talked about it, and I said, if she doesn't take The Office first, it's going to be Supernatural. And then I'm going to have to take The Office, but I'm going to feel bad because she watches it way more than I do. But
it's so the same with Supernatural. Like, you watched it first, and I took it from you. So
yeah. So The Office is just good. I mean, you watch it all the time. Whenever I'm at your house, you have it on. Like, it's
just background noise in my house at this point.
Yep. I mean, it's just so quotable. It's just so good. I haven't rewatched it in a while. I'm probably due for rewatching it this point.
Yeah, it's even better when you haven't done it in a while. Mm-hmm. I do it every week, so. Yeah. Also, now they've got the Superfan episodes on Peacock.
Yes, and I watched the first 2 seasons of that, and I haven't gotten farther than that yet. But yeah,
you should watch more of them. I mean, some of them obviously it's like, okay, I'm glad you cut all of this out, and other ones I'm like, that would have been an iconic quote from the series.
Yep.
For the last 10 years if you had put it in there.
Yep.
It's just so good. I think like seasons 2 through 4 are the best.
Sure.
That's the best that it has to offer.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
also,
go ahead.
There's an episode for literally everything that's happening in your life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so many relatable moments or clips I go find when I'm going through a certain situation, or GIFs. The GIFs are endless from that show to use. The gym faces alone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very relatable, especially somebody like me who's sitting in the office every day. I'm basically living that life.
Yeah.
It's very relatable. Yeah.
I remember when I was working, I was like, oh, look, we're about to go on Lake Day. I'm going to watch the Beach Day episode of The Office before I go.
Yep.
Like, also, so when I lived with my last 2 roommates, like it was a couple, and the guy and I would like quote The Office every day. Like, we would just look at each other. If a situation came up, we would just like look at each other and like say something from The Office. Like, if like somebody was talking about like marijuana on TV or something, we'd be like, oh, that's Northern Lights cannabis.
No, it's marijuana.
And like Leo would just be like, huh? And we'd be like, it's The Office. She'd be like, oh. Yeah. That was like a daily occurrence in our household.
Yep. And ironically, I actually have a cameo from this show. I have a Brian Baumgartner cameo. So
it's so good.
Yep, it's really good. Sean Murray, really good. He says.
Maybe like, I just want that to be your voicemail message.
I know. I haven't done it yet. I really should. Felicia Day also says
Sean Luke Murray?
He did say my full name, and then Felicia Day also says my name very fun in the one I got from her. So I just have this list of like celebrities saying my name at this point, I guess.
We'll keep building it for you.
Yeah, I need to go find people interviewing Sean Murray from Law and Order and just steal clippets from that if they say it. Hopefully,
that's funny. That's true.
So.
What is your favorite episode of The Office?
That's a really... I should have known you were going to ask that. That's a really tough question.
It is a tough question. I only know mine because I had this conversation with my roommate.
So I'm gonna... It's gotta be... I don't know if there's any one episode entirety. There's moments I like a lot. Yeah. Like, I'll say the Kevin Chili moment is the most cringeworthy. Like, that's what I love about it, though, moment.
Yeah, like a good cringeworthy.
Yep. That's also true for the Scott's Tots episode.
I love Scott's Tots.
Most people will skip it. I lean into the cringe. Yep.
I do, too.
Yep.
I think my favorite episode is Dinner Party. That's what I've landed
Dinner
on.
Party, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's actually it. You're right. It's 100%. 100% Dinner Party. If you've ever watched the bloopers from that episode, they're almost better than the episode itself. It's phenomenal.
Jim,
it's
over here.
they say it was like the longest one to film because they just couldn't keep keep it together, and it's, you can see it on screen. It's just so good.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. There's a Christmas episode where Michael's playing Santa and Kevin wants to sit on his lap, you know? Yeah. And if you watch it, they cut part of it out. I remember listening to the Office Ladies podcast and they talked about this. But like, Kelly could not stop laughing in the back. And if you look you just see her going like this the whole time. Everything's happening over here and her face is just down because she's not allowed to look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
That was a good number 1 pick.
Thank you. Well, it's time for your number 2 then, I think.
Yeah. And I think I know what I'm going to do.
All right.
But then also... No, I think I got to do it. I'm going to pick Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. I knew it would be early.
Yep. It's just so good.
Yep.
And it was part of the potential... A quote from it was potentially the name of our podcast for a hot second.
Yeah, that's true. So when Adam Scott comes into the show is probably my favorite. Like I when I rewatch it, I actively wait or like try to hurry up and get to that point because I relate to his character so much.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Adam Scott is an accountant in the show. He's auditing the Parks and Rec department essentially when he comes into the show and becomes a regular on the show. Now there's a very good clip from this show. Never heard of her beat me to it, but there's a very good clip from this show that I have up ready to go. And we almost, and maybe it'll change, but we almost named the podcast after this moment because as those of you who know, and maybe you don't all know, Katie is going to law school, so she's going to be a lawyer.
Hopefully. And
I am currently an accountant. So this scene that I'm about to show you is just very iconic for us.
It is.
Let me do the talking here, okay? I mean, he's a lawyer, I'm an accountant, we speak the same language. I mean, obviously, accountants are a little more bad boy, but there's a respect there.
When will this be over?
Hey, Trevor.
That's it. That's it. That's
There's a respect there.
There's a respect there. We almost called the podcast. There's a respect there.
Which I also just realized that would have been tart, and that's funny.
That is funny. That is also funny. Yep. Might have to think about a rebrand. Who knows? We're early. We're early. We're early in the podcast. It's not too late. Maybe just LOMHOT. We'll call it both. LOMHOT tart. Sorry, LOMHOT tart.
LOMHOT. We'll just like say LOMHOT tart. There's a disagreement in my household, which listen, Cody loves Ben and Chris. Cody probably is Chris, if we're being honest.
Yep.
Cody's my fiance.
Yes.
But Cody loves Mark Brandanowitz.
Mark Brandanowitz is a good.
Actively calls him Mark Brandanowitz constantly. That's all he calls him.
He quit.
So he did. And I always want to skip to when Ben and Chris join. I always just want to start there because Adam Scott.
Yep.
But Cody always wants to watch.
He wants to see the early episodes for Mark Brandanowitz. I don't blame him, but at the same time, season 1's not. I mean, it's just not worth it. Season 1 is so bad. I mean, by the end of it, they start to get the shit together, but season 2 is so much better than season 1, and then it keeps progressively getting better and better. At the peak, being when Adam Scott finally comes in.
Yeah, no, his entrance is my absolute favorite thing.
Yep. Yep.
I remember. So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't like the ending of that show. How they did like a big fast forward to like see where they've been. I think the biggest reason they did that was to prevent coming back. Like people being like, "When are you coming back?" Well, they basically told the entirety of their story because they went so far into the future that it doesn't leave any loose ends.
Yeah.
Like they closed it all up.
And then they did the 2020 reunion episode. Do you remember that?
I didn't know. I don't remember that.
In 2020, they did like a Zoom episode.
Oh,
where
I don't know
they
if I've
all
seen that.
connected during the... What?
I really
It's
don't
so
think I've
funny.
seen
You gotta
that.
see it.
Yeah.
Because Ron's in it with his wife, but they're in quarantine together when they're filming it. So it's just really, you need to watch. Brittany says you guys watched it.
Oh, I have. If it was in 2020, I probably blacked it out. And
honestly, sometimes I forget it exists.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wrote it down to watch it. So.
I mean, you should just rewatch it because it's funny.
Yeah.
I remember Cody's wasn't a big TV person. Now we watch the same sitcoms over and over again, but we sat down and we finished The Office, I think, and I was like, you should watch Parks and Rec, and he was like, no, like I've seen like it when you guys are watching it, and I don't really like think it's that funny, like it's fine. And I was like, just give it a shot. So we watched the first season. He's trudging through the 6 episodes or whatever it is. We get to what he doesn't know is the first episode of season 2. And he goes, that's the first episode where I've like laughed out loud. And I was like, welcome to season 2.
Yep.
And then we finished the last season immediately. And he goes, oh, let's start from the beginning again. It's like, we just watched.
Yeah, you guys definitely
so
have that in common because that's why the Office is constantly going at your house.
Yeah, that's probably my fault. Which, to be fair, it's usually me, and then Cody jumps in. He's like, "You watched 2 seasons since we watched together," and I was like, "It was just on."
I didn't actively watch it. It was just
I was
there.
home, and it was on.
Yeah, and that's what I had some friends in college that would do that during finals week. They would have Harry Potter running the entire week in their house, just on in the background because it was a comforting thing to have on like during a stressful time. And so I will say this was not because of a comfort thing. It was a laziness thing. Honestly, being in college was a what is that noise? Sorry. Being in college was like a fever dream. It doesn't seem like it actually happened. So freshman year, Janelle and I was my freshman roommate. We just fell in love instantly. And we would just watch TV shows and movies together all the time. Sure.
And one time we were like, let's watch 17 again. I had the DVD. We had the DVD player. Put it in. So we finished it. And then we like started doing stuff and just didn't stop it. But it would go to the menu and then it would restart. And at least, like, DVDs, sometimes it'll go through the credits, go to the menu, and if you don't hit play, it'll just start.
I didn't actually realize that. Okay.
So it did that for at least 24 hours straight because neither of us stopped it. And I think Janelle just watched that movie for the first time in like 9 years because we couldn't watch it anymore. We saw it like 10 times in a 24-hour period.
Oh my God.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Don't have that problem with The Office though.
No, right, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, I think it helps when it's a TV show versus one movie because at least it's a different episode every time you look up, whereas like Christmas Story, by the end of the day, you're like, okay, I can wait till next year to see this again because it's been on.
That's why you
for
only
24.
watch it on.
Right, it's been on for 24 hours. I don't need to watch it again.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I relate to that.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more story, and then I know we got to go to the next pick.
Yep, that's fine.
It's Parks and Recs related though.
Yep.
I went to see Nick Offerman at the Ryman here in Nashville.
That's right. I actually forgot about that. Yep.
He was doing comedy stand-up. I had gotten Cody tickets for his birthday, but Cody's brother and best friend were in town. And we were like, well, we have these tickets if you guys want to try to snag last-minute tickets as well. So we go to the show. It's funny. Like, he makes some Parks and Rec jokes, but then also other stuff too. So, like, everybody can enjoy it. And we are sitting there. And he finishes the show by singing us a song.
Hold on a second. I think you're glitching out. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think you're back. You're back
Oh.
now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And he sings acoustically "Bye Bye," well, 10,000 Candles in the Wind or whatever it is.
Yep.
The entirety of the Ryman is singing "Bye Bye Lil Sebastian," and Cody's best friend David is just sitting there in the Ryman, surrounded by hundreds of people singing the song he's never heard before in his life. It doesn't make any sense. But it was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
That is awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for some reason it's super catchy. It's 5,000 times more catchy than.
It is.
Then what is it? What even is the original one? Candle in the Wind. I couldn't even remember.
A candle in something like that.
I think it's 5,000 candles in the wind.
I think it is 5,000.
Because they said make something that's 5,000 times more catchy than a candle in the wind or whatever. So he's like,
exactly.
That's why he ends up naming it that. So.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
I tried to sneak some
now.
ice cream and I spilled and Pesky.
Listen,
caught me,
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
Pesky called me out 100%. Yeah. The original one is Candle in the Wind, and then it's the one from Parks and Rec is 5,000 times better than Candle in the Wind. Just to clarify. Anyway. All right. Again, I'm still playing defense.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No. I want to point out as well, everything we've said so far is in my top 5, like that I had.
I figured. Yes.
So my number 2 is going to be New Girl.
I just knew you were about to say it.
Yep. And this is also the one where I almost forgot to write it down.
Oh my gosh!
This is
really?
the one.
It was like the first one that came to mind.
I haven't watched it in a while, and so it's for me. This one was very quotable. I watched it, and then at not my current job, but my old job, which is irrelevant to the story. I had a coworker where we would quote it at lunch almost every single day. Like literally, it was almost all we talked about, and it got to the point where people who didn't watch it anymore didn't want to sit with us because we would just be laughing back and forth about something stupid. Most notably, the colorblind scene with Winston, which now I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh my, probably one of my favorite scenes of a TV
this
show.
Might be what makes
so
it
funny.
This might be what makes it my favorite show. Is this scene?
That whole episode is just hilarious because it's also the puzzle episode.
That's what I was just noticing because I looked up a clip and it's the puzzling. Yeah, I'm just gonna find that moment. But yeah, it's just great. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna pull it up here.
Sorry, I met you yesterday. You arrested a man named Nick Miller?
You got money?
Money? No, we don't want any money. But wait.
What about his shoes? Any interest in his shoes?
Look, hell no. There's no way you're getting these damn shoes, okay? These are my favorite brown shoes, and besides, this is all your fault, Schmidt.
Nick's body's being traded like cigarettes right
Winston,
now.
those shoes are not brown. They're green.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
Those shoes are green.
You guys are idiots, all right? They're as brown as
What
money.
color is Kermit the Frog?
Brown. Is it
Winston,
brown frog?
Winston, you're colorblind, dude.
What? I'm not colorblind.
It doesn't matter, sir.
Oh no, they didn't include it. The best part is Schmidt goes, Winston.
Yeah.
If you think those shoes are brown, what color do you think you are?
And he just goes. Wait, there's one more iconic moment in this. I just want to show real fast.
I am puzzling. Looks good to me. This is my masterpiece.
I mean, I think Winston might be the entire reason I love that show. Just
Winston's my favorite.
God, he's so good. And when I see him in something else, we were watching Christmas Chronicles on Netflix the other day. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't watched it.
You should. It's very good. It's on Netflix. Okay. But the guy who plays Winston plays a cop on that show, and I'm like, oh look, Winston's in this because he's basically. I mean, he's basically playing the same character too. Is that it's That's right. Yeah.
And I mean.
Sorry, Pesky just reminded me she named her car after him because in some light, her car looks brown, and in some car her car looks green, and so that was the joke. There is that scene. That's right. Thank you, Pesky. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Cody's favorite character is Schmidt. He watches the show. It begins and ends with two people actually, Schmidt and Bear Claw.
Bear Claw. Yep. Jason Gad. Yes. Yep.
Cody just watches it and he's like, Bear Claw is a better actor than anybody else on this show, and I don't want to hear anything else about it.
Bear Claw. Oh, with the Gay Wolf musical that they do with
Oh my gosh.
I can't remember that guy's name.
Justin Long.
Justin Long. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you, Josh
good.
Gad, not Jason Gad. I'm really bad at names.
Oh yeah, I didn't even recognize
Josh
that.
Gad. I knew it was wrong. I was
That's
sitting here
so funny.
puzzling, and I really couldn't figure it out.
You're
but
bad
yeah.
with the actor names. That's fine. You
yeah.
did pretty good, to be honest.
Thank you. I got Gad.
Have you've seen The Wedding Ringer?
Yes. That was actually the first movie I liked with Kevin Hart in it because I was never a Kevin Hart fan, but that's a good one.
But Josh Gad sings the weed and the coconut song in that.
That's right. I forgot that's what that's from.
He sings the Gay Wolf song, and they both sound like Olaf because he's also the
he's
voice
also
of
Olaf. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I just saw a TikTok actually of him. I think he's at like Disney World or Disneyland. I don't know which one, but there's a ride with Olaf in it, and Olaf is like singing over there, and you don't realize who's taking it until he turns the camera back and he's like, he's all right, or something like that. Like he's just something cheeky and.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he's so funny. He's so funny.
Yes.
And then he also posted somewhere that he dressed as Ursula for Halloween.
I sent that to you. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
He did a scary good job dressing as Ursula.
Very much so. I really didn't expect the new girl to spawn off into a Josh Gad discussion. I'm gonna say that right now.
I know, but I love Josh Gad.
He's great. He's great.
That's so funny. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a very quotable show.
It is.
And it's yeah. If I can watch it, so that's the other thing too, is when I was thinking about this, I was torn between, there's shows that I could watch 100 times. I love them that much. But then there's also shows where I watch it one time and then I'm like, I'm good. Like it was very, very good, but it's not rewatchable, maybe because there's a twist that kind of changes everything or whatever. But so, and I stuck with the ones where I could watch it right now again and I'd like it. So
that's kind of, especially what I'm starting with, because those are usually the ones that you like too.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
I'm really torn on my next pick.
Okay.
So
I will say those were the 4 that we were fighting over hard. I know that.
I'm really iffy about this next one, because there's I think I gotta go with what I know. And I'm also rewatching it right now, so it's fresh in my mind. I'm gonna go with How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. That wasn't gonna be in my top.
And
I had it as a side, as one on the side, just in case. But I
know the end. If you watch the end of season 8 and pretend that's the end of the show, it's an excellent show.
Well, even if you pause the last episode, right after he finds her, and then you're done, even that's enough for me. Just stop it there, called it a day.
Yep.
They had this scene that they had filmed how many years ago to make it work, and they just forced it in, even though they'd been doing, they didn't expect the show to go this long. They went way different directions with it, but somehow made it tie back to what they originally intended, which was a bad move.
Yeah, the audience liked Barney and Robin, and they said, okay, we'll give them what they want for a while. And it's just I feel like I don't mind that they spent an entire season on 3 days worth of a wedding.
Yeah.
It was kind of outrageous, but I was like, I don't really mind that.
Well,
except that it was a waste of my time.
Well, and the outrageous part too, not only that, but the outrageous part as well is that after that, they spend one episode going 20 years or whatever it is.
Why'd you do that? And plus, those 3 days didn't matter because of what happens to Barney and Robin. Why did I watch those 3 days for you to do 20 years in one episode that undid everything else?
Yeah.
It absolutely destroyed Barney's character.
Yep. Well, yeah, they made this amazing story arc for Barney, and then just wiped it all out in one go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Just to make their previous plan work. I don't know, but yes. But other than if you stop before that, it's a great show, and I don't disagree with that. There's a lot of quotable moments. Ted is the main character, and I don't even like him, but every other character makes up for it, Oh,
Ted's like the Ross of How I Met Your
There you go.
Mother. He's just
exactly. But
I really do love that show. I've watched it probably 5 times all the way through because it's just so good. If you ignore the last episode. Also, everything with the Vikings just makes me so happy. The Vikings bar in New York that Marshall goes
Marshall's
to
a Vikings
is
fan.
just like the one I go to in Nashville.
Yeah.
And when he's driving through Wisconsin,
I was gonna just say that next. No, go. Yeah.
We stopped in Wisconsin on a recent road trip to get spotted cow out of the gas station and like take a bathroom break. And we were walking inside and I was like, I can't believe we stopped in this stupid place. And Cody looked at me, he's like, you're gonna get us killed. You have to stop talking. Like, what is wrong with you?
When they're driving through Wisconsin, he's like I don't even remember the last name, but anyway, when the boys are repping the purple and gold, and he just like yells, "Go Vikings!" like through the like.
I can't remember the kid's name either.
I was just trying to think of their last names. I think he calls them the like
Ericksons. Good lord.
Yeah, the Erickson boys. That's what he says. The Erickson boys are repping the purple and gold through Wisconsin or
So
whatever it
funny.
is. Just all those Vikings references are great. Just fantastic.
Yep.
So
It's so funny.
it's just great.
Anyway,
Yeah.
got a special place in my heart.
It does. That's like I said. It was.
My heart.
Well, that's the ending was the only reason it was not top on my list. I did have it as an honorable mention just in case I needed to fill gaps and things like that. So.
Yep.
But. All right, I think it's my pick then.
Apparently, the crowd could hear Swarly meow.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. That's hilarious.
Oh, he's in his carrier. He just walked into his carrier.
You named your cat after him, Yim. That's what they're trying to say.
You're so stupid.
That's what they're
So
trying to
stupid.
say. Yeah.
How did I not already bring that up?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, season 2. Oh yeah, here we go.
Go ahead. Tell us.
Season 2, there's an episode called Swarly. Because Barney goes to the coffee shop and they write Swarly on his cup instead of Barney. And so they call him Swarly the rest of the episode. And so when I moved off campus, my best friend and I, this is the first show we watched together. And so a couple years later, we moved into our first apartment. And I was like, can we get a cat and name it Swarly? And she was like, yeah, of course. And and we ended up finding the cat. And now he lives here and his name is Swarly. And Ari would like to see him. So while you play the video, I'm going to grab Swarly.
All right, sounds good.
Mine says Swarly. I think it's Swarly from Barney. It's not even a name. Who would ever be called Swarly? Oh, please don't start calling me Swarly. This would never happen at a bar.
Man, what's up? Of course, had a little help.
Swarly hooked him up?
Oh,
They
good, you got
totally
my
cut out
text.
the best part of that scene.
Rockin', actually.
I got a call for Swarly. Is there Swarly here?
You weren't interested in my suit at all, were you?
Swarly.
Swarly.
Yeah, I know he's there. It's really important. Could you ask again?
Important call for Swarly. Jeez, can't you hear him, Swarly? There's a call for you.
You all done with that, Ted?
Yeah.
Ned. I told you to call him Ned.
That's just sad.
Sorry, Swarly. Ted live here, or does Swarly live here too?
Nah, Swahili has his own place.
What's up, Swirls?
No. Okay? No.
Okay, this is a lot.
Yeah,
But
no, there's a lot of moments.
You get the idea. I was killing time while you got swirled.
This is my child. They call him Swirls Barkley at some point in the show too, so we call him that
Yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, I found him and I was like, well, he doesn't really look like a Swarly, but his name was Toby. And I was like, but anything's better than
Yeah,
Toby.
I mean that's an
Or a
office
cat.
reference too. Toby's are
Like
the
a
worst.
bad office.
Toby's are the
Yeah.
worst. So he's very vocal too. That's why you assumed they could hear him in the background and not.
I really thought that's what it was.
You're so funny. They're like Swarly, and you're like, oh, do you hear him? And we both were just like, yeah, that's weird. Oh, good, duh. He's named after this show.
His name is.
We didn't even realize. Okay, all right. So let's move on to pick 3. Pick 3. Boy, am I still on defense, or can I start picking just stuff I want in my list? I have
feel like
3 left.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I'm still on defense.
Mine is
I'm gonna
3?
pick.
What are you
I'm gonna pick
doing?
Schitt's Creek as my number 3.
Oh, that was almost my 3, and then
So-
I went for it and went with Himian.
I'm still on defense. Schitt's Creek is great. I don't know if it deserves this high, but I wanted it on mine, real bad.
Yeah, that's I respect that because I would have picked it next if you didn't.
You, David. Uh,
I made when Cody's friend David was in town. I just turned it on when the two of us were at home while Cody was working.
Yeah.
I just turned it on so that he could listen to you, David.
Yeah. So Schitt's Creek is another. It's just I wouldn't. I don't think it's in the like. I don't know. It's very good. It's still pretty new to me, so I'm like, it's not as quotable. You, David, is like I think the
It is
max of it for me, but it's just very entertaining.
It is. I've rewatched it now. Like it's so new that I've only really had like one rewatch, which isn't a lot for me.
Right. And like I said, the only reason I put it so quickly in this list is because I wanted to make sure I got it from you. So that's
the right call, because it was next on my list.
I'm going down the list, and I'm telling you, every single one we picked so far has been on my like top list because I knew this was going to happen. So we're this. I told you it's going to be a battle royale.
I can't listen to like the Simply the Best song anymore. I'm like, I hear it, and I'm like, what? I'm just supposed to listen to this now?
What, I'm
and
supposed to not sob? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some pretty good.
Favorite TV couple.
There were some really good character arcs in that show too, which is I think another reason I like it so much. And to me, it's almost not rewatchable because you know where they go, and they're so unlikable in the beginning, and they become so likable that it's tough for me to go back to that. And I think that's part of the reason I haven't rewatched it. And this is a good example of a show where I love it, but I'm like, I don't need to rewatch it that often. Like I will rewatch it eventually, but I can go a while without rewatching it.
I would recommend you rewatch it because there are some good like quotable stuff. So I think you find that, but it's not the same. Like the first watch is you're watching them grow into themselves. So there's not like a typical sitcom. There's like a lot of emotional attachment to the journeys they're all going through, and it's like it's a different experience. Swarley's just pushing everything off my desk right now, so I apologize.
I'm way behind on the chat, so there's a lot going on. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't want to. I know this is gonna be recorded, and so I don't want to do a whole lot of interact with the chat, but I want some. But
no, there's a lot of
a little bit of Alexis. That's a good one.
A little bit of Alexis is just so
fold in the cheese. That's another really good moment.
Everybody.
Hey, but I can't help you do everything. Oh God.
Can you help me with something?
Yeah, that's a really good scene. That's a really good scene. So that's my number 3. So.
Yeah, that was a good one. I just really need you to like take a chill pill. Okay. We brought him in here, and there we go.
That's why I locked my cat out, because he would be doing the same thing right now. I have a video on my Instagram, shameless plug, of I was playing Fortnite, and he's like in my face for the entirety of my game, and it was great. Yeah.
That's cute.
It's a lot of cat butt in the camera, and it's like, okay, bud.
Too far now.
All right.
This isn't OnlyFans. This is Twitch.
Wait, I actually have a story. That actually does remind me of a story. Yeah. This isn't TV related in the least, but this is the only place I could possibly place that story. So you remember when I was in that play last year, that Halloween play? So somebody that was in that play with me, I can tell you who they are later. They have a cat who they made an OnlyFans for, but they didn't know what OnlyFans was. They just thought it was a place you could post cute cat pictures and people would pay to see the cat pictures. So we told them, hey, this is what it's for. And then we're like, people are definitely getting off to your cat.
Like, I could not have presented to you a better situation to tell this story.
She said, they're cute. And then she shows us the pictures, and they're all like him on his back. Like, they're definitely poses that. And we're like, you realize? You realize? And they legitimately didn't know. Now, granted, I will admit that they aren't from there. They came to America like not that long ago, so like it's like a cultural thing. They just didn't know somehow, I guess.
Not used to our immorality.
Right. And I was just like, oh God, we were dying. We were just dying. We couldn't believe it. Oh,
that's horrible.
I can't believe you set me up for that story. Like I never in my life thought.
I can't imagine a better chance for you to tell that story.
Oh my God.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Oh God. Anyway.
Oh wow, that was funny.
Okay. I think we're on. Yeah, we're on your pick still.
Okay. I think the next one is the only one that I'm really worried. The only one I have left that I would be concerned about you taking.
I think I know what it's gonna be.
So I'm gonna go with Friends.
Nope, that's you. I didn't even.
Oh, what did you think I was gonna? Now I want to know, because that means I'm probably forgetting something important.
So I don't even know if this is gonna make my top, but I was gonna be okay if you took it. Well, we can talk about it later, but anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Friends.
That makes sense.
I can't not pick it. I've watched it all the way through too many times. I haven't watched it in a while. I watched it when HBO Max first came out, but it would crash a bunch because they were still working on HBO Max.
Yeah.
But now it works, so I should start watching it again. I know, like, Mom had all the seasons on DVD at one point, and so we watched that together.
Nice.
She watched that one like we were growing up. That was her thing.
Yeah, and
I remember. Go ahead.
No. Finish here.
She sent me a clip once, and it had like the "I got off the plane" in it.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen the whole series yet, and she was like,
"No."
She's like, "Just ignore that. You'll get it someday."
Someday. Like Cody with the dead the whole time thing we talked about last week. It's the same idea.
A lot worse.
That was our. If you want to hear about that story, watch episode 2. It's on YouTube. LOMHOT on YouTube.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? We were talking about Friends. Oh, yeah. My thing with Friends is it's very good, but I'm at a point now where I can't watch shows that have a laugh track. They just bother me so much. And excuse me, I watched a video. Drew Gooden was my favorite YouTuber. Shameless plug. But he does a really good analysis of that and The Office together, the Friends and The Office compared together.
Yeah.
And he's like, while Friends could be as funny as The Office in some respects, it's ruined because it's like they think you're dumb and they're telling you when to laugh at sometimes. Yeah. You know, sometimes the joke is funny as I don't know, it doesn't need over, audience laughter or whatever. Now I still watch it and I still like the show, but it's not one of my favorites, that's all. Oh, I think I lost you. Oh, there you go. You're back.
There we go. Yeah, Chandler is one of my favorite. Oh shoot! Now I unplugged my headphone. Hold on. There we go. It's just the theme of the night. Chandler's one of my favorite TV show characters ever. I think he's so funny.
Yes,
so
Chandler does make that show very, like, him and Joey. Their duo is a big reason I would watch it again. But the sad part is how much Matthew Perry doesn't remember because of his drug issues and stuff like that. So I can't help but think of that when I watch it too, because he so obviously loses so much weight from one season to another, like halfway through. It
fluctuates so much.
Yeah, and so it's rough to watch just because of that.
What he said in an interview recently was like, when he's carrying weight, it's alcohol, and when he's like losing weight, it's when he's on like drugs. And pills and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, so like, I've always noticed that when I watch it, and I assume it's related to his addiction, but like hearing him talk about it like that, it's like, because like literally the engagement episode where he and Monica get engaged, like he kneels down, proposes to her, whatever, and then that's the end of the season. Yep. So then when they come back, they start the same day, but he's lost so much.
That's the most dramatic one.
He's wearing the same clothes, and it's like, hanging off.
That's when it's obvious. You can kind of forget it from season to season, but that specific moment is when it's clear there's something going on.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So it's a different way. You can't watch it the same after all that,
That's the thing. And Pesky did say bring your onesie home so you guys can match again. So
I think it's already there waiting for me. I left all my Christmas stuff at home, and I'm upset about it right now, but I'll be happy next week when I don't have to pack it.
Sweet. Well, Ari, who I think is in chat. Yep, Ari's in chat. I have a Sully onesie that she left behind for me to wear, so I will wear that.
That's nice. That's so cute.
Yep. Yeah, so I didn't even write Friends down, just because I knew that you were going to take it.
Yeah.
More than likely. And it's just not one of my favorites.
The laugh track is I mean, in the 90s when it started, that wasn't super uncommon.
No, and it's not.
But now you watch it and it's like,
I cannot spell. It's not. It's just typing too fast. It's not spelling bad. It's typos.
No, that's what I do too.
Anyway, it's not. I still watch it. It's not unbearable. It's just I'm at a point now where I've seen so many good shows without it that it's hard to go back. Like Schitt's Creek, The Office, Parks and Rec. All those shows don't need it. So it's like, why does this show have it? Yeah. It's like that with the new Max Greenfield, who was on New Girl, who played Schmidt. I don't remember why I know his name like that, but.
Wait, what?
Schmidt, the guy who played Schmidt on New Girl, Max Greenfield, his show he's on now, which I'm not gonna remember what it's called, is
the Neighbors show.
Yeah, is one of those super laugh tracky shows, and I can't watch it, which is sad because I love him as an actor, but I can't get into it. So
like we're in the 2020s, why are we still using laugh tracks? I just don't understand.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand.
Okay, so for my fourth pick, I'm going to pick the one everybody's been talking about in chat and knew that it was going to come up eventually. Doctor Who.
Of course.
It's only this far down because I knew you wouldn't pick it. Or I had a feeling you wouldn't.
Honestly, if I had picked that, that would have been so mean.
I mean,
like, I'm not sure you would have forgiven me if I had picked
I
that.
felt that way about taking The Office from you, so...
No, this is so much worse than that, I can guarantee.
Yeah.
You sent me a cute clip from it on TikTok. I'd never seen that scene. It was cute.
Oh yes, I just sent that today, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like at the end of the Capaldi era-ish time frame. So
That's so nice.
that's part of the reason.
I've never watched any Capaldi episodes.
That's part of the reason I sent it to you, is because I knew you hadn't gotten that far, and I was like, I sent that to a bunch of people, including you, because I was trying to entice you guys to come back to the show.
I liked it.
Show that there's still good.
To like him.
There's still good moments even after David Tennant leaves, you know.
Yeah.
So this show, I know. So this show, I don't remember exactly when I discovered it. It was sometime in college. A friend of mine I had friends that kept telling me, watch it. It was on Netflix at the time, I believe. And they were like, watch it. I was like, okay, fine. So I got into it in college and I was like, okay, yeah, this is really good. And I think that would have been, I don't remember the year, but it would have been around the time Matt Smith was just starting. And then I watched, obviously, from Christopher Eccleston and forward, and David Tennant. Underrated. Don't skip season 1. A lot of people do.
Skip 9.
Don't skip 9. It's tough to get through at times, but it's also, you just have to. Yeah, it's part of the history. You gotta. I will be honest.
It sets up the Rose Tyler relationship. You can't skip it.
That's the thing too. Brittany and I have been rewatching Doctor Who, and we decided to start Matt Smith era, but like when Clara's his assistant or his assistant or whatever. I don't know if you got that far, but because she's his companion, there we go, I couldn't think of the word. Companion for Capaldi, and then so like that kind of sets up their storyline, so that's the reason we picked that. And it's the same thing with Eccleston. That's when Rose started, who's with David Tennant in some of his best years, so you have to watch Eccleston to understand the backstory with Rose, if anything.
And Eccleston's good.
Yeah, Eccleston is good. He had like, I think the reason he left was he had disagreements with the creators and stuff and writers and stuff, and so that was and that's also the reason he hasn't been in any of the reunions or anything like that too. But I know if you haven't watched Doctor Who, this is like all gibberish to you. So let me talk less about the actual show and more about why it's my favorite. So back to what I was saying. I started watching it when I was in college, and all my friends were telling me to watch it, and it's just a iconic show. Then I showed it to Brittany, and she fell in love with it too, so it was kind of our show together. And then actually at our wedding, we had a lot of Doctor Who memorabilia. Like it was basically a Doctor Who wedding at that point. Our card box was Doctor Who. We have a box that's sitting in our basement of what marriage advice people put in it that we're not supposed to open until our 10-year anniversary. Harlan, our friend Harlan, came dressed as David Tennant. Like it was a whole thing. Like our whole day was our shelf of wedding memorabilia. I had cufflinks that were the TARDIS. Like it was like a whole. So it's just kind of a joint thing with Brittany and I. It's our show, you know. It's our bed sheets are Doctor Who. You know, we haven't watched Doctor Who, the new Who, in years, and yet still we have all this stuff because it's just such a pivotal part of our lives. And we just, like I said, we had just started doing some rewatching so that we can watch current stuff that's going on. Because I actually called you one night when I found out what was happening in the current season, which we don't have to get into, but
it's worth rewatching just to experience that. Wow, that sounds I need to okay. Anyway.
Brain Ninja, we actually had somebody who gave us the quilt. It's Dinah. We actually had somebody who made that quilt for us for our wedding, and that's the one that's on our bed right now. Brittany was actually just saying recently we should take it off and put it in a memory box because it's starting to get holes and stuff from the dogs. So
that's a good idea.
But yeah. But anyway.
Sometimes I forget how much Doctor Who stuff is in your life because like it's just like your guys' personality for me at this point. I'm just like, yeah, that's normal.
Yep. And there's a lot of just amazing. With that show, there's just so many. Not every episode is great. That's true with every show. This show's been on for like 50 years. Longer now. It'll be 60 next year. But anyway, and so there's good and bad with any show that's on that long. But the good episodes are so good. Like there's an episode with Vincent Van Gogh that's like tear jerking. That's one of my favorites. Blink. If you're gonna watch one episode of Doctor Who just to figure out what it's about, watch Blink. That's my favorite episode probably.
Dad's about to enter the chat.
I'm waiting for Dad to pop in. That's the episode I showed him and made him fall in love with that show. Like, it's just good. It's just good. So.
Yep. Whenever I see anything Vincent Van Gogh, I'm like, hey, you know, there's a Doctor Who. Like, anybody that's around, I'm like, I have to say, like, it's
just so well done.
Worth you
probably,
need to watch that.
Probably my favorite Matt
good.
Smith episode, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
It's amazing.
It's good. So,
but
had to be on my
Blink
list.
is iconic.
Blink is iconic. Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Yep. Oh boy. This is the tough one. I think I've got to save some of these. I'm happy with as honorable mentions, so I'm just gonna stick to what I have up above the line.
That makes sense.
And I'm gonna pick one that you're not gonna pick. Dad says you can wink. Sorry, that just got me.
So the reason
you can't blink at him, but you can wink.
That's the reason he said when he was watching the episode, he thought of that, and then in the sequel episode that comes later, they do that, and he was like, "I told you you could do that." That's why he brought that up, I think.
That's funny. I am gonna go.
This is your last pick.
Oh my gosh, I know it's so tough, but I think I'm gonna go with Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That one was safe from you, so I saved it for last.
Yep.
It was between that and Jane the Virgin, which is an excellent show.
Oh yeah, I've started that one. Yeah.
Oh, I actually do think you'd really like the whole thing. You should. Actually, I really need you to watch the whole thing so that we can talk about it.
Okay.
Actually, if you could do that, that would be excellent.
Okay, great.
Gilmore Girls, though, which is my pick, back. It's just so good. Mom and I watched it growing up, and if I could pick one fictional character to spend the rest of my life with, it would be Jess from Gilmore Girls. Cody knows that probably, and he's fine. He's not fine with it probably, but I don't care.
He's as good as he can be.
It's just, and I'm furious because they even have other storylines with other men, and that's ridiculous. Yeah, Mom and I are Rory and Lorelai. Like, that's just a fact. Unfortunately, there are other men in our family, unlike Lorelai and Rory. They get to live alone as best friends and enjoy each other's company. We are constantly disrupted. It's actually really funny because I call Mom 4 times a day. And not like on a schedule, it's just that's the average. But now Dad's retired. So we'll be on the phone and I'll just hear Dad go, okay. And Mom's like, that means he wants us to be done talking.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But we really are Rory and Lorelai. Like that was our show. I don't fully understand what's happening in the chat here, so that was a bit.
Dad's talking about how bad an actor Padalecki is.
Oh, did you? Oh, there it is. I missed the key message. I thought you tried to decipher that. From
No, yeah, it was up earlier. There's a very quick chat happening today, and I love it, but we lose track.
Jared Padalecki is the best. So don't even talk to me, Dad. However, in the show, awful. Terrible character. The confusing thing is I watched that before I watched Supernatural. So in Gilmore Girls, his name is Dean.
Yeah, yes.
But then in Supernatural, his brother's name, and I was like, it took me a good while in Supernatural to like get Dean correct.
I'm actually really surprised they didn't bring that up in the French Mistake episode, honestly.
They did.
Oh, did they? Was it a thing? I didn't remember that.
I can't remember if it was that exact episode or a different one, but I think it was.
They bring it up at some point.
No, it might have been a different one.
Okay.
No, it's definitely a different one because they're sitting on like a tour of a film set. That's why I think it might be.
Okay.
And you can hear the tour guide on the little bus thing that they're on go. And if you look to the right, you'll see the set of Star Hollow, the set of Gilmore Girls, and Jared Padalecki. He looks at Jensen and goes, "We gotta get out of here," and like jumps off.
I do remember that part.
So
I do remember that part. Yes, I.
But that's all.
I do
Mom
remember
says
that.
it is French Mistake.
Okay, that part I do remember. I just didn't remember them acknowledging the fact that he's Dean in that show or whatever. Like that specific fact.
That's true.
That's all I meant.
That would have been funny if they did a little joke on Dean.
Right. It looks like he's Dean. No, wait, that's just a TV show or something like that, and then moved on.
Yeah,
from it. Like that would have been
really
enough.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was
If
so
they,
much
like,
good in that show
started
already, or that episode
if
already.
they went by the Gilmore Girls set and they started calling him Dean.
Yes. That
and then the
funny.
other Dean, that would have been pretty funny.
That would have been funny.
They should have consulted us.
There was already so much good in that episode. I don't want to ruin it. I feel like trying to throw too much good in there would have been too much. But
Okay.
That was your final pick. So what's the final for my top 5? I have so many.
Big decision.
I have so many honorable mentions.
You had a lot written down.
I have a it's you can't really see, but it's a lot. Give me 1 second. I think I'm gonna go.
Take your time. It's only the whole world waiting.
It's only the whole world
kidding.
waiting for me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm just gonna have to go with Scrubs. It's gonna be Scrubs.
I knew you were gonna. Scrubs.
It's gonna be Scrubs. It had to be. I mean,
I've never watched Scrubs.
So it's very good. That's all.
You love it. I know.
Ironically, they say it's one of the more accurate medical shows, and that's because it's not hindered. Is that right? Anyway,
yeah.
It's not reliant on the medical wonders because it's a comedy, so they can just they don't have to.
They don't get things wrong.
Right, they don't have to be super crazy medical stuff. Like even the musical episode, I saw a doctor talking about it, and he's like, "Yeah, if you have a tumor, this could be something that happens to you or something." Like there was an explanation for it. They also have the best musical episode of all time. Every other show has tried and failed to do what they did with their musical episode. I have watched that episode alone too many I can't count. I can't count.
The Guy Love episode?
That's the Guy Love episode, yes. So some background on that is when I tried to do a YouTube channel before, my co-host and I sang that song together for an episode. And
you didn't just try, you succeeded.
We did. There's some good moments back then. But anyway, that's another episode. But anyway, yeah, it's just a very quotable show. It's a very good show. There's some heartfelt moments in it too. It's got everything that a good sitcom should have. There's no laugh track, stuff like that. It's just very good. I recommend watching it. The other thing is this actually is a good pivoting point because I was going to bring this up. They have a rewatch podcast, and I think I mentioned this to you in a previous episode.
Fun.
They have a rewatch. They have a rewatch podcast called "Fake Doctors, Real Friends" or something like that. And it's I haven't gotten into it yet because I realized that you have to watch the show while you listen, because what they do is they review every episode is about a different episode from the show of them talking about kind of what was like making it and fun memories from that and stuff. So it's you get more out of it if you watch the episode they're going to talk about. Now, Sunny in Philly, which didn't make it on my list, is another one that does that. And I started trying to do that, and I just haven't gotten very far into it yet. Where you watch an episode and then they talk about it. So does New Girl. New Girl did that now too.
Yep.
I don't remember who's all in that one. I know it's Zooey Deschanel, and I think the guy who plays Winston, which I don't remember his name.
Oh, Lamorne Morris.
Yes.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
But anyway, but yeah, those rewatch podcasts look fun, and I started trying to get into the Sunny in Philly one, but I haven't gotten very far because you have to watch an episode and then listen, and it's back and forth. So.
Yeah, that's kind of how the Office Ladies one was. Like, you didn't have to, but the stories made more sense if you.
That was the first one, or one of the first ones I heard about, where they do that, and then everybody else is trying to do it now. Yeah, and there's and I really want to do the Scrubs one, and I might, just because. Yeah. I love Sunny in Philly, but I never got into that show. Where Scrubs, I could tell you most of the episodes before. Like, I don't even necessarily have to rewatch them. So. Yeah.
I just love their commercials now.
Yes. Yes.
Zach Braff, and it's so fun. Oh yeah, we talked about. I feel like we talked about that last week.
Scrubs definitely came up during the movie episode, and we said we'll kick whatever's left to today. So. Yeah. Yeah. So that's our lists. That's it. Did you have any really good honorable mentions you wanted to talk about?
Grey's was really the only one that I would have brought up. Grey's Anatomy. I mean, I like that show a lot, but it's too long, right? But the first few seasons are just stellar. Like the episode where George is 007, like the John Doe guy. Like, nothing can beat watching that episode for the first time.
That's agreed. I agree. Yeah. And that was, I watched the show until not long after that happened. Mm-hmm. I think it made it all the way up to with the whole ghost, which is a supernatural tie-in as well, kind of. The ghost Denny. who's also the dad from Supernatural, and they talk about it in the French Mistake. Coming back to French Mistake again.
They do. I love Denny. I love Denny. Not as a ghost, as a live,
as an actual person. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, BFP. I realized I told you wrong in my stream on Monday. It's on Wednesdays, not Tuesdays. So, but there'll be a recording on Twitch and it'll be on YouTube. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying. Sorry. Yeah. So Grey's Anatomy, I watched up until like the whole Denny thing, and then I quit. And the whole losing George was such a heartbreak that I was like, I'm done. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it anymore. It was bad. It was really bad. Yeah.
Again, I didn't see the faces. It just made me.
You glitched out again. Sorry.
And they're horrible.
Hold
My
on.
face was frozen.
Hold on. You're still frozen.
Why? Also, there we go.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
It was putting my face in some weird.
You just kept.
I didn't like that so much.
I think it's your camera issues or what are causing it probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I think that was my only big notable honorable mention.
I think a big one that I was gonna put on my list and didn't make it, what I was going back and forth with, was Community. I thought you might. I thought you might take Community.
It crossed my mind, but it just gets a little too weird in some points. Like I really like it, but like season 3 is like the strongest, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
And otherwise, sometimes it just gets a little too bizarre.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I still like it.
That's true. But I like that about it, and that's where we differ a little bit. Now there is a rumor that a movie's coming because the ongoing trend with this show was 6 seasons and a movie, which they made the 6 seasons, and now it sounds like the movie is going to happen eventually. So
excellent. Yeah, I just watched an episode where they ended with hashtag 6 seasons in a movie, and I was like, there it is.
Yep.
The episode where Pierce is in the hospital and LeVar Burton comes.
Yep.
That's
a good one.
My favorite
that's
episode.
A very good one.
Just so funny.
Yep. I never wanted to meet him in person. I just wanted an autograph. And just Donald Glover in that whole show just makes it. Him and Abed's relationship makes it for me. Like that's.
I think they hit their stride with it in season 3. That's what I'm more noticing on this rewatch. Is like it's
Troy and Abed
so
in the morning was just what I lived for, honestly.
Yep.
Yep.
No, it's very good.
It's very good.
I also like the friendship in real life between Joel McHale and Ken Jeong.
Yes, and I actually watched a good chunk of their. They did a video podcast before that was really a thing, during COVID.
Yeah.
And they called it The Darkest Timeline because there's a plot in the show where they have all these different timelines, and there's a darkest timeline they interact with sometimes. And their theory was, with everything that happened in 2020, we are in the darkest timeline. So that was the joke. But,
that's funny, actually.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good.
Yeah.
I actually never liked Joel McHale because I thought he was kind of an asshole. But after watching this show and seeing his, honestly though, no, because I don't know, just seeing him in other stuff, I thought he was an asshole. And then I finally sat and watched Community, and then saw him like I'm the kind of guy who'll go look up interviews and crap like that while I'm watching. And seeing him interact with that crew made me come around to him as an actor more than I had before.
That's awesome. Yeah, he goes on The Masked Singer every now and then because Ken Jeong's a judge on there.
That was like one of my only let me backtrack. I remember when he was on that show and I was mad about it because I didn't like him and I hadn't watched Community yet. I remember that very clearly, that they had brought him on as a guest judge, and I was like, damn, I do not like that guy. And then I watched Community and I was like, okay, I feel better about it.
Yeah, exactly. I went on there and I was like, oh, their friendship makes even more sense now. I get
exactly. Yeah. And then Psych is another one that would have been on my list. We kind of watched that as a family a little bit. They did a musical episode and it went terribly, and I never watched it again.
I never made it that far.
They jumped the shark and it was terrible.
Yeah, I haven't watched the movies either.
No, I heard the movies are good. Good.
Yeah. I also had Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yep. I didn't put that down on mine, but it's very good. Yep, that's a very good one.
Yeah. It's a very good show.
Modern Family is one for me. That's a really good one. I got really into that one when it first came out, so when that one ended, it was very heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, because you and Dad were literally the early seasons son and dad. Like
We-
they were just you guys.
We were. I mean, they basically were doing what we were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, and Psych, they say "Shut up, Sean" too. Thanks both of my
That
parents
was
for
the best.
throwing
That
that
was
in
my
chat.
slogan
Yeah.
growing up.
Except
I could've
Sean
been
was
a writer
spelled
for
wrong,
Psych.
so like in the show, he was spelled his
That's
name the other way. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. The other, I was going back and forth on cartoons. Like SpongeBob crossed my list at one point, and I was
Oh, I
like,
didn't even think
just
of
because that's
that.
timeless, it's like still a
It
thing.
is.
I think it's worth mentioning that the fact that when we were kids, I actually remember the day that came out very vividly in my mind. I remember the very first episode of SpongeBob airing, and I remember watching it.
Yep.
And it's still on today, and they've
You're
just
old.
changed it. I know they've changed it to evolve with the current audience. Like
Yeah.
the fact that they've now arguably it was better when we were kids, arguably, but at the same time that's a nostalgia thing. And the fact that they've kept it alive by making the necessary changes, they're open to doing what they have to do, is brilliant. Like kudos to them, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean the fact that you can just turn to somebody and say like a random SpongeBob quote.
Yeah.
Of course, now I'm not gonna be able to think of any SpongeBob quote I've ever
right.
heard. But like, and everybody just knows what it's from.
Yep. Exactly.
It's amazing. Mom is right. I do love Degrassi. I wasn't gonna mention that.
I didn't know if you were gonna or not.
I do. I love Degrassi. I watched, Brittany's Pesky. Sorry, Pesky's
doesn't
Maid of
matter, yeah.
Honor. Pesky's Maid of Honor introduced me to that show. Yeah, grew up watching it. It was good.
Yeah.
Makes me feel too Canadian though.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, from being on Twitch as much as I am now, you meet a lot of people from around the country, and they all, when you're in Minnesota, it's close enough. Our accent is close enough to them. But at the same time, on Brittany's Twitch, through Jackbox, we met some actual Canadians, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not Canadians."
They know the difference.
Right. Plus, we have to be careful because we make fun of Canadians so often because trying to prove we're not them.
Oh
and
yeah.
So.
Speaking of TV shows, Letterkenny Mom watched when she was at. Have you watched that? You've watched. We talked about this.
Letterkenny? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually written down on my list here.
Mom watched some episodes while she was visiting once, and we were just having a chill night, and we were like, well, we could watch the show, but Mom, I don't think you're gonna like it. And she was like, well, why? Well, let's watch it, we'll see. And she was like, she watched an episode and she was like, why would you think I wouldn't like this? They make fun of Canadians. Like, I love that.
Well, that's the best part. I don't think they're outright making fun of Canadians. I think they just are Canadian being funny, and it feels like we're laughing at them and not with them. I think that's
so true.
I think that's 100%.
It's worse that we think they're making fun of Canadians.
Yes,
Oh,
sorry,
Lord.
Pesky. I actually turned off my sound alerts for the podcast, but I do have a line from Letterkenny in my sound alerts that's like pitter patter, let's get at her and stuff like that.
That's funny.
Or how are you now?
Oh, that one I know.
There you go.
My roommates used to watch it a lot.
Dexter and Breaking Bad are both really good ones that I had on
Oh,
here.
Dexter. I figured you'd have Breaking Bad. I've never watched it.
Yeah, it's very good. I rewatched it recently and it holds up. And just so I could watch the Better Call Saul show, I watched first, then Breaking Bad, and then I watched the movie that's on Netflix, the El Camino.
So I can watch the show Better Call Saul without having seen Breaking Bad?
You can. There's like little it's a prequel, so like there'll be there'll be some like names in it that you would normally know because you've watched the regular show, but it'll lead into like the actual show if you decide to watch that as well.
Okay. People reference it at law school, actually, a good amount.
Sure.
So
that
I would like
makes
to
sense.
get the reference.
No, yeah, you can watch it without Breaking Bad. It adds some humor like to it because you see who comes in and out of it.
Yeah.
Like the very first episode, you see like a very pivotal character in a very different role in the very beginning, and so that's a shocking like pull in for people who have seen Breaking Bad, but if you haven't, it doesn't really do anything for you. But at the same time, you don't have to know who that is. So it's doing it again to you. Oh, I think you're back. No.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was just letting you talk.
I was trying to talk through it. Like I was like, shit, I'm running out of words. But I'm just trying to see if I had anything else worth mentioning. I mean, that was kind of all my good ones. I had some more like shows when we were kids, like Ned's Declassified or Kids Next Door were big ones for me when I was a kid.
Oh Ned's Declassified.
Yep, they're doing a podcast
Love
now.
that.
It's not out yet, but they posted
are.
videos of them
Well, they were
recording it.
supposed to do a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to do a TV show for it, and then like Nickelodeon pulled it, I guess. So
Yeah, they were
they're
all
doing a
in, and
podcast.
Nickelodeon wasn't. So they're like, "What else can we do?" Well, I guess we'll do a podcast. So
yeah,
I lost my headphones
I
again.
do love that. Dad mentioned Rick and Morty, I think. In
Rick and
the
Morty.
chat, or
Yep,
he
that
just said
was
Rick.
listed. Yep.
Yep.
That's a good show. It has the same creator as Community, actually. But that's a good show as well.
I did know that. Dan Harmon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you remember, oh shoot, what was it called? Like Quibi or something came out in 2020.
Yep.
And like it was really, really short shows and it lasted like
It was
3
basically
seconds
trying to be
'cause nobody
Vine,
was
but
gonna
like
pay for it.
serious.
Yeah, so you have to pay for a subscription because it's like actual shows.
Right.
Which there were some funny shows, like Chrissy Teigen did like a People's Court thing and it was hilarious.
Okay.
But there was a show on there starring Anna Kendrick. And like it's where like a sex doll in her house comes to life. It was a very weird concept.
Okay.
It like belonged to her boyfriend and it came to life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her boyfriend was Dan Harmon.
Oh,
Wasn't
okay.
played by Dan Harmon, played by someone else.
But was
played
actually
Harmon.
supposed to be Dan Harmon. Okay.
Sorry.
Yep.
Are we back?
Not yet.
No.
But yeah, I think I'll fill some gap while we wait for you to come back. But I think the problem Quibi had, based on what you're saying, is they hired a lot of really well-known actors to do really bad shows, and they couldn't pull themselves out of the hole of debt they probably created by doing that.
No,
Oh,
it was
there you go,
I guarantee you they spent a ton of money on there.
Yeah.
And like the shows weren't necessarily bad, but nobody was doing that. You're not buying something to watch a 6-minute episode.
Right.
Like, that's kind of silly. And you'd have to pay a subscription, which was just like too much.
Yeah.
So, but there was a really good show on there called Most Dangerous Game, which I've recently learned is also the name of a book. So that's probably where they got it from.
I've heard of it, yeah.
But like this guy really needs money for like something medical with his family, and so he makes a deal with this guy. These people are hunted by a group of very wealthy people.
Yep.
The wealthy people pay money to enter the hunt and then hunt humans.
Yep.
And you win money if you're the last one alive.
Sure.
And I thought it was starring Liam Hemsworth, another well-known name.
Yep. A-list.
It was very good, but like nobody was watching it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's the problem. They were getting these A-list celebrities, couldn't afford, and then they didn't get the viewership to afford it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it is and it isn't like Squid Games. With Squid Games, they're killing each other. With Most Dangerous Game, it's someone actively hunting you. The Most Dangerous Game, the reason it's called that is the most dangerous game is human. Like, that's the,
Oh.
the game
True.
in this situation is the human being, and
I
it's
never got
dangerous
that,
because
so
they can
true.
fight back. Yeah. It's also a game because they're chasing people, but like it's a combination of both. That's the whole point of the title. But yeah. Anyway.
I did have Squid Game on my.
Oh, you did?
on my
Yeah, I
list.
didn't.
It's just a phenomenon.
It was good. It was very good, and this next season's supposed to be coming out sooner than later.
I didn't like the last episode, but I do like it if it leads to a good second season. That's fine.
Yes, you gotta hope that they're setting something up.
Because if that was just it, the end of the story, I'd be like, that's ridiculous. I can't believe you did that.
Yeah. Yep.
I cried over this man. Anyway.
The only other one I've left mentioning, well, I had on mine as well because House is very good.
Oh,
I like
is so good.
I like Hugh Laurie a lot. Anything he's in, I'm a fan of, basically. I think you're glitching again, so I'm gonna keep talking. The other thing I was going to bring up was one that probably be on Pesky's list was That 70s Show. That's an iconic show. There you go. That's very quotable. And Ashton Kutcher's start and a lot of well-known people's start.
I'm wondering if my camera isn't glitching in the stream and people are just seeing me go like this while you
I don't think that's the case because I'm sharing the screen from my thing, so I feel like it would be.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I just got nervous for a second there. I was gonna say House is probably my favorite medical drama.
Yeah, it's very good. Hugh Laurie's just a
Is very
genius in it, I feel like.
Yeah. I think the diagnostic aspect of it is like pretty like more interesting than other
It's
shows.
very interesting, but it's also very far-fetched. Is the it's the other side of the coin, is that, you know.
Well, it's supposed to be the most random cases. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
but I've seen so many YouTube videos of doctors being like, this would not happen. Like, this is not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's, you know. But it's exciting.
Why Scrubs is superior.
If you were in the medical field, you'd probably hate that show. But from those of us that know very little, it's very exciting, you know.
It is. It is.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and that 70s show was all I had left on mine.
Oh yeah, I saw that 70s show and I was like, you might pick that. What do you think about that 90s show?
I am cautiously
Or whatever it is.
That's what it's gonna be. That 90s show. That's what it's gonna be called. I am cautiously optimistic. I love that Kitty and Foreman are still in, or Red Foreman are still in it. I
think if it's successful, it's gonna be because they're in it.
Yeah, that's I'm hoping that that's enough to pull in that nostalgia, and I'm very worried about, for lack of a better thing to call it, a CW type show where the kids are just unbearable to watch. Like, it's just, with all these other CW shows besides Supernatural, I feel like they're these young kids that I just can't stand. And
No,
maybe
I
that
agree.
means I'm an old man now, whatever. But
I think that both can be true.
yeah. So that's the one thing I'm worried about, but I am cautiously optimistic. So
Yeah.
also, I refuse to watch Revenge, and I'm not talking about it anymore.
You watched Revenge?
I refuse to watch it, and I'm not talking about it anymore
Why?
because I think it's bad.
You already watched it.
No, I think it's very bad. I tried to watch it, and I can't.
I didn't know that. I probably did know that. I watched all of it. It's done.
All right, the background. I can't even believe you guys remember this. I forgot about this. I don't remember the specifics, but basically, Petsky and I made a deal where if I did something, if she did something, I would watch Revenge. Like, there was something she didn't want to do, and we went and did it. And we went and did it, and then I was supposed to watch the show in response to that, and I didn't because it was so cringy. I couldn't get through it.
It's so thrilling, though.
It's so bad. It's not good. It's ridiculous.
And like the main people are married in real life now.
It's so ridiculous, though.
Ew.
The concept, it's just oh, that's what it was. I made her watch Pulp Fiction or some sort of Tarantino movie that she hated, and I said, if you watch Pulp Fiction with me all the way through, I will watch Revenge. That's what it was.
Listen, I mean, you made her watch Quentin Tarantino. I'd be upset too.
I love Quentin movies, though.
Yeah, you also like Tim Burton, and I'm just not.
So wait,
Not
you didn't
Tim
like
Burton.
Wednesday? Is that what you're telling me?
That's not normal. That's different. That's an exception. I'm talking Coraline. Like, stop it.
I did watch all of Wednesday
The
in case
first
that
Tim
came up
Burton
today.
that I've liked. They made her continue to do scenes after she thought she had COVID and while they're waiting for the results to come back.
I did hear about that. It was specifically the dance scene in that one episode,
That's
which is the worst one for
awful.
that to happen because everybody's like,
Yes.
yeah,
Close to each other. There's like a maximum number of people in that scene.
yeah.
Good lord. Anyway, I blame Tim Burton.
Oh,
He
come
probably
on.
wasn't involved.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's one of the few Tim Burton things that Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
I can never say her name, and Johnny Depp weren't
A lot of
in.
names.
So
Well, she just got divorced from Tim Burton.
that's true. But I think she
So
was
I
in a
think-
movie since that happened.
Okay.
Though
Well, good for them.
think I might be lying. I don't remember, but
I want to see
anyway.
Johnny Depp in more things now. Chop chop.
yeah, right. Well, that's all I had. That's all.
Me too. I feel good.
Oh, one random thing I wrote down. This is completely random. I was hoping to cope naturally. I never did. Do you remember the show 101 Deeds of Eddie McDowell? Dowd. The premise is it's the
Sounds
dog.
familiar.
It's a dog who was a human but did something bad, and his punishment was he becomes a dog, and the only way he turns human again is he has to do 101 good deeds.
I'm Googling it because it sounds so familiar.
You're glitching again, but yeah. It was something that I caught a few episodes of, and I really wanted to see when he finally finished it. And there's even an episode early on where he runs into another dog that's doing the same thing, and they are on their 101st good deed, and they turn human in it. Like it's anyway. It was a cool concept, but I don't think it lasted very long. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing
That does look familiar.
the reason I'm bringing it up is I don't know if anybody's talked about this, and they probably have, and I'm behind. But I made the connection today when I was looking for episodes of shows, or like shows to pick for this, and My Name Is Earl came up, and I realized it's the same freaking storyline, just without the dog of the Eddie McDowd show. It's the same.
That's really funny.
It's the same. It's Earl is trying to make up for his bad deeds, and he goes back to everybody he wronged and fixes it. It's the same show, just not a dog.
That's hilarious.
So, I just wanted to bring that up. I had it written down because I had
That is Brenda's song.
Oh yeah, I had that epiphany today, and I just
She was in it.
wanted everyone to know that I thought of it.
Yeah.
So that's how we'll end it. Oh God.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I feel good about our lists.
I do too. I'm more happy with the movie list or the TV show list I got than the movie list.
I think I am too.
I wish I'd gotten Supernatural. That's the only thing I'm mad about, I think.
Sorry.
If we swapped Supernatural in The Office, I'd be happier. I mean, I wish
I want both of them.
I am glad I have The Office. I'm glad I have it, but I do wish I had Supernatural.
Yeah, I feel that. I would like to have The Office.
Yeah. That's my Discord
so
where you can
next
see when I'm
week-
going to be live, and then that's my socials where you can see all my. I'm also going to say where I'm live, and we also post fun things. I'm hoping to make more TikToks with this one, while she's in town, in the next few weeks. Yeah, I was trying to point to you, but I kept going off screen.
I was looking at the chat and I didn't know you were pointing at me.
Yeah. So TikTok, make sure to follow my TikTok. Hopefully that'll be a thing. And I can go live on TikTok if I get enough followers. So, you were going to say for next episode. Go ahead.
Yeah, next episode will be on Thursday next week.
Is that the plan? Okay. Yep.
Well, I'm driving Wednesday, so we probably
It definitely wouldn't be
anyway.
Wednesday. Yep.
So we'll do Thursday next week.
Yep. That sounds good. So everybody,
And
put
who
it on your
knows what
calendar.
we'll discuss then.
Who knows? We haven't picked the topic yet. It's Christmas time. Maybe it can be Christmassy or alcohol-y since we brought beers into it now.
Or both.
Well, that's
Right.
it.
We can call it Beers and Cheers.
Beers and
It's
cheers.
Like, and then like cheers, like
Oh, I get it. The name of the episode,
Christmassy
like,
for me, like Christmas cheer.
Christmas cheer. I get it. Yeah, cheers and beers and cheers. We'll dress Christmassy. We'll drink and we'll. That'll be it. Yeah.
Just on the spot.
We can also do a video game stuff too. We could do, but
That's
for
true.
like a different episode. You're gonna be here for a bit, so maybe the one after
Yep.
that. So
It'll be in-person version.
So you heard it here first. We'll see you next Thursday. And with that, goodbye
Thanks
from
for listening.
Minnesota.
Goodbye from Tennessee. Cheers.
Cheers. I was there.